Hey everyone, it's your boy, Cosmic Brotha, aka Anthony Agrat. I think Cosmic is going to be my official government name someday anyway. I'm sitting here with a great dude by the name of Shamar Thomas. How you doing today?
I'm doing peace. How
All
you
right.
doing?
We're going to talk to Shamar about the Stop and Frisk movement and also about his recent fame on Survivor, which starts on the 14th?
13th. February 13th.
The day before Valentine's Day.
That should be interesting, right?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. So, since your glorious video of telling the cops what their moral barometer should be.
You see it, baby. They don't lie.
Let's go.
They don't lie. They don't lie. They don't lie, tough guy. This is not a war zone. This is not a war zone. These are unarmed people. It doesn't make you tough to hurt these people. Let them know. It doesn't make you tough to hurt these people. It doesn't. I don't care. I don't care about these people. I'll put in my work. It doesn't lie. It does not make you tough to hurt these people.
How has your life changed?
My life hasn't changed that much. I mean, I'm still doing the same exact things I was doing before, but, you know, Survivor did kind of stop things for a few months because, you know, I had to, you know, go about the process of, you know, before you get on the show and then actually doing the show and then coming back from the show.
You can't tell us if you won it all, can you?
I couldn't tell you anything.
That would be an exclusive.
They have, you know, I didn't really realize, like, in the beginning when they talked about, like, the Survivor confidentiality, and they like, you know, anything, any little hint, any little thing, any little mention is gonna, you know, people are gonna know. And I didn't really understand how deep the Survivor fan base was, but it's like people are die-hard fans. There's people that said, well, we think he lasted this long because he sent out a tweet at this time, or, you know, we saw him on Facebook on this day, but he didn't comment for a few days, or, you know, stuff like that. So it's like it was really, you know.
Can you tell us what island you were on?
Yes, I was on the Caramon in the Philippines. It's a remote island. It took us literally like 8 hours once we got to the Philippines to get there. Like we had to take.
That was going to be my next question. How long did it take to get to the Philippines?
The Philippines, it took about 20 hours, like in the plane. But then once we got there, we had to take a small private little plane. Like I mean, it was a commercial thing, but it was really small. And then we had to get on a bus, and then we had to get on a boat. It was, you know, it was Survivor for real.
Wow, that's big. So you would think that all of these new things that you're being able to, basically what you've been able to do these days is branch yourself out to a bigger audience and therefore have your own ideas manifest easier.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that was my goal. A lot of people, you know, I really looked at this time and everybody's like, you know, TV, especially reality TV, a lot of different shows, but that's what people are watching. That's what people respect. You know, when I talk about, hey, let's go to a march, you know, people are like, oh, that's nice. But when I say, hey, let's watch Survivor, it's like, oh, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to tune into that. And I just hopefully, you know, at the end of the day, it'll just, you know, bring more awareness to my cause. And once people find out about who I am, then they'll know the work that I've done and understand, you know, where I'm trying to go.
What were you doing before that discussion with the police?
What I was doing before was I was like a juvenile activist and a college student. I was going to school and I would volunteer like 3 times a week just at juvenile detention facilities because I went to Syracuse University, then I came, I stopped going to Syracuse and I went to Nassau, you know, to, you know, get my credits up before I went back to a 4-year institution. And what happened was I kind of started, I was, you know, about 2 years out of the Marine Corps, so I was still learning who I was because I never really pictured myself as a civilian. I mean, even when I was in high school, I knew that I was going to join the military, and what happened was actually when I got in the military, I was sent to a base in the middle of the desert in 29 Palms, California, in the middle of nowhere. It was literally an hour away from Walmart, and once it was time for me to re-enlist, I did 2 tours to Iraq in less than 3 years. So less than me being in the Marine Corps, 1 year I was in Iraq, and then before I was 21, I was in Iraq again. So I didn't really have a life. And then they wanted to send me to Courthouse Bay, North Carolina, which is in the middle of nowhere. So I was like, do I want to keep going to the middle of nowhere because I love the Marine Corps? Do I want to keep, putting my life on the hold? And, my friends are in college enjoying themselves, and, different people are doing different things in the community. It's like, I felt like, there was, maybe a chance that I can at least go get a degree and then come back into the military. So I just wanted to get out and see what it was, and, I'm enjoying it.
Okay, we've had conversations before, and I can say that you're intelligent. I can tell from our conversations. So you serving in the military, you understand both what's going on up top and also why so many of our men are willing to serve.
Of course. I mean, a lot of people, especially like in my neighborhood, they want to, go into the military because, they don't really see the hardship. A lot of what I tell people is they see the uniform and not the pain, not the struggle. They see the respect that you get, but they don't know about the 4:30 mornings and being out in the middle of nowhere, just freezing cold, just to wear that uniform. And so that's why a lot of people take so much pride in. And on the weekends, you're balling out because you got a few $100s, and to that, the average person that's living in our society, that's a good life to them. But they don't, you don't really realize I made $2019 to fight a war in Iraq. My first time I went to Iraq. That's what I got paid after all my combat pay and all the extra stuff that they give you was $2,000. So it's not really enough money to fight a war. But the only reason I don't tell people not to join the military is because of the things that I've learned. It did change me as a person. It did give me a lot of life skills that I wasn't as outgoing as I was, and I would have done a lot more things. I've done a lot more things because of the military. It has given me a little bit more fire, inside. So that's why I don't really go against it. But I tell people to, at least try other means. You know what I mean? At least, try the stuff. Don't just say, oh, I'm going into the military. That's it.
That's good. As far as like the wars themselves, how do you feel about some of the wars when you? Because I know you have studied reasons behind why we're at war now. You might not have done it when you first got in.
Yeah, exactly.
But since then, I'm sure you have, because I've seen you talk, so I know you've done some.
Yeah.
You have a better understanding than, say, the guy who just became a Marine 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Well, I joined the Marine Corps literally at 17 years old, and so I wasn't, socially, conscious of what was, the greater aspect of things. I was just like, I want to get out of my mom's house. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I want to, I knew that the Iraq war was going on. I wanted to, go to Iraq, and, I felt like, if I was going to spend my whole life in the military, that I needed to go to Iraq now so that I wouldn't have to go to war later, kind of thing. So, I was eager to go and prove my mettle and almost get it out the way so that, I can, have a long-standing career without, having to worry about stuff like that.
Tell me about the Iraqi people. I know nothing. I know nothing except for what I see on CNN and occasionally might turn to Fox, and also what I might get off the internet. I don't know what's really true and what isn't, but you tell me about the Iraqi people themselves.
I mean, that's like asking somebody, what's an American like? We got people from New York and we got people from Mississippi that are, totally opposite. But what I would say is that, we shouldn't be in that country. So my perception of them is a little bit, distorted because, they don't understand why we're there. But, I always tell people it's very difficult to fight that war because even if we do what we're supposed to do as Americans, like we don't come through and, harass and hurt people, people still are trying to hurt us, you know what I mean? And it's small little factions, so it's not everybody. And so that's why we have to kind of, raise our level of force, in certain situations because we have to combat that. Even though we may be in a situation like, what I said in my One Marine video is I was in a riot in Iraq, where the people were throwing rocks at us and we didn't throw rocks at them, because we didn't want to, we didn't want them to hurt them. You know what I'm
controversy
saying?
in it,
But
yeah.
if, you know, it's like we tried to follow, you know, the rules of engagement, and we tried
That's
to
pretty much the rules in the street out here too. If you hear a gunshot drop to the floor, because other people are going to start shooting, so that's no different.
Yeah.
But cultural differences, they're always portrayed as these people who are filled with hate for America itself.
Yeah.
Is that the case with? I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like anywhere, there must be some group there that hate everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But we also have groups right here that hate everyone.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of the whole populace being this violent group.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, like I said, with us, we went through the Battle of Fallujah in 2004, but we were in Iraq for 3 months without an incident, without a casualty. You know, I don't even think, I'm not sure, I won't say it, but I don't even think, I didn't even hear about anybody firing their weapons for the first 3 months we were there. And so, you know, I kind of understand, you know, where the Iraqi people are coming from, so that's why I don't really judge them. And so, to me, I think that they were good people. I didn't think that they, you know, were evil-spirited. I think a lot of people just look like, why are you messing with me? I just want this to stop almost. And that's where, you know, I didn't feel that spirit of, we just hate you because you're here, you know, because you're American, but we hate you because you're in our country invading us, and, you know, you got your tanks driving up and down our streets. And, you know, I can respect that. If some tanks were, the Chinese were driving down my street right now, I would be like, you know what I mean? Even though I wouldn't hate the individual Chinese soldier, I'd be like, man, hey, what are these dudes doing on my block? You know what I'm saying? So
coming in my house when they want to.
Exactly. So I honestly feel like, you know, if we weren't there, I don't think that, you know, I don't think that our country would have been in any more danger than before we were there.
Let me ask you something. I myself, I can't define this as a war.
Okay.
Isn't it more of an occupation than
It is an occupation. I mean, the only reason I know that it's not a war is because we're not fighting, you know, a real. Well, they are a real enemy, but we're not fighting an equal enemy. Yeah, we're not fighting an enemy that is backed by the government, where it's like, you know, a war, you know, where it's Iraq against, you know, the United States. It's like certain sporadic, you know, factions that, you know, come together, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know if that's what they call themselves, but, you know, it's really pointless, and it hurts my heart that we keep sending these troops over there. So
I got a question. This one's personal to me. This is a personal question to me. How did you like your dinner tonight?
I honestly enjoyed my dinner. I thought it was pretty good. I was a little skeptical about the apples. I've never had apples in my chicken, but
and a stew, yeah.
Yeah, but you was on top of things, man.
Yeah.
I was proud of you, man. You showed improved. So.
Yeah, I try. I've been cooking the same meal for quite a long time to just perfect it.
Yeah.
But enough about that. Thanks for the compliment. Stop and frisk movement. When did you first get involved with the stop and frisk movement?
I started getting involved with stop and frisk when I started doing working with Occupy after my video, because what a lot of people don't know is before my video, I had only been to Occupy Wall Street twice. And it was like the first day was October 5th, and I literally, you know, saw Occupy Wall Street on the news from the Brooklyn Bridge, and I was like, hey, I just literally, you know, wanted to go check out a movement and check out, you know.
That's what it seemed like. When I looked at the video, it seemed like you just happened to be like, what's going on down here? And then you saw, what exactly did you see? Because I can't remember seeing anything before you started telling them, hey, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah. You know what happened was, people, when I was initially talking to the police, people didn't know what was going on to really turn the cameras. So
yeah.
That when I was walking down the street, you hear me laughing like good night, because I had already, you know, got into a verbal dispute with an officer. So when I was walking away, it was like, all right, but you can't see him or hear him, but the cop said something to me, and that's why, like, when I turned around, that's when I started going, you know, in, because I heard him say something to me.
Yeah, because I was sure that somebody had said something to you prior, because your body language was a response, like, what? And you turned around and you started talking to them.
Yeah.
And they seemed what's the word I'm looking for here? They seemed confused.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know, like they didn't have a policy in place.
Yeah.
They didn't have a policy in place to handle not only a man in uniform, but a huge man.
Yeah.
And you're not screaming "fuck the police" or anything stupid. Everything you were saying was intelligent.
Yeah.
And you were informing them that what you're doing is not right.
Yeah.
It seemed like they didn't know how to handle it. That's what made the video go viral. Because we know if this was 1927, the outcome would have been different. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that is so.
I don't like to think so, but you know, I don't like to think so. I mean, I've been active in my community and active with the people that have been in my surroundings. I've been walking down my street and seeing my friends get harassed by police and have said something, and the police have gone away. Not out of, and what I try to tell people, it's not out of I'm just this crazy guy, but it's like once you hear what I had to say. What I've been through. You know what I'm saying? And I try to, explain, the cops that I meet, like, yo, man, like, you don't have to treat the people this way. The outcome, is not going to change, and you're hurting us more than helping us. And so, but like to go back with the one Marine thing is, when I was walking up, there was actually police hitting protesters, and what happened was. When I went out, I had went into the TGI Friday. That was right there. Sorry for the shameless plug.
It's okay.
I don't want you. Don't go to TGI Friday. I just said. But me and my aunt went to TGI Friday so she could use the bathroom.
I actually like TGI Friday.
So she was going to use the bathroom. And I'm like, her name was Jana. I'm like, yo, Jana, they're beating people. I'm going out there now. And what happened was. I had been telling people, listen, hey, man, these people are really getting beat down here. Like, I was going to physically, because I've been in disputes with cops and they never put their hands on me. I was like, these cops are not going to put their hands on me. So what I was going to do is physically put myself in between the protesters and the cops. And they had these big orange nets. And so when I walk out the door to, go get in the mix and I had my aunt with me, like, make sure you film this so when I get to court, they don't say that I put my hands on anybody, that I didn't hurt anything. And so that's why the speech was very impromptu. It's like, they wouldn't let me through, and I'm like, why are y'all doing this to me? And he's like, the cop was looking at me like, you're a Marine down here with these people and this, that, and the third, and, talking to me all kinds of crazy. And so, I just kind of, I wanted to let them know about themselves. And
is there like a mental shift in the paradigm of the police where they do not feel they are part of the people? Because I mean, for that to go down the way it did, you couldn't just be following orders. You had to be like, you had to agree with the orders.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know what? These people down here, they're bums and hippies, but that wasn't the case at Occupy Wall Street at all. It was pretty much a cross section of humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was down there and I wasn't a hippie or I'm not a hippie or anything of the sort.
So like that's really funny though, because when I went down there with my friend, I'm like, hey man, can I I was dressing like not like a bum, but I was dressing down because I was at Occupy Wall Street. And he's like, I started thinking to myself, man, why am I dressing down again? Like I had to I just had to be me and just start doing my own thing. But what I feel about the cops, where we desensitize them, because when a cop walks up to you, people's hearts start beating. They start getting nervous.
The adrenaline starts flowing.
The adrenaline starts flowing, and we as human beings, we can feel energy. That's right. So every single person that they encounter on a daily basis is worried about their freedom. And so it's not, I think the gun does have a lot of people. When I was in Iraq, I loved my gun. Like I was like, with this M16, I felt good. But I wasn't walking up to Iraqis that was just like, oh, I'm so afraid of you. They have a different spirit about them. They just want me gone. They're not like, I'm afraid of you. So it's like that's what they deal with on a daily basis. And so that's why I felt in the video, I didn't think it was everything that I said. I think it was the emotion, because people didn't feel that fear in me. And so that's where it was. That's what I think to me, it personally made it big was just that emotion that, yo, I'm not afraid, and that, you know, I'm going against, you know, somebody that people are really afraid of.
I'm not afraid, and I bear you no animosity. When I watched it, that's what I got from it. You were telling them there was no honor in what they were doing, but you weren't calling them any names, you weren't insulting them in any way, so they didn't know how to respond. It was like, it's like the police don't understand that they're part of the masses, and you know, and that the masses right these days don't really know how to respond properly in every situation. Everybody has become robotic.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were hitting people down there. I don't know why they act like they weren't. And it was like you just had to be walking down the street. But you know what's funny? And I talked to this with Malik Rasan. Big up my boy Malik.
Peace.
They weren't hitting. That's right. Occupy the Hood. We got to support them brothers.
Shout out to Preach too. That's man. Right. That's my man right there.
Preach the truth.
That's my man. He's funny.
The thing is, I didn't really see them beating black people at all. It was like they were avoiding us. It was like they were seriously avoiding messing with black people. Like, you know what? We don't want more black people down here, so don't hit no black people.
What's my man name from Occupy? Not Hydro. Damn. There was a black guy because I saw him. He had like milk on his face. And there was only one black guy though, but he was in the mix. He was in every situation, every time. But he was in more of trying to help people. But you know. I just tell people, I mean, even when I get pulled over now, it doesn't matter what I did. I'm like, why are you pulling me over? Like, you know, it's the way you talk, and, you know, once they don't sense that fear, it's hard for animals to attack. It's hard for, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for them. They're like, yo, am I going to be that one? You know, but that's what saves me in the street, period, just being big. It's like, you know, I go to all these different hoods, and they're like, man, he big, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, do I really want to be the one that wants to rob him for, you know, his feet too big anyway.
The chances, the problems that'll come up from me attacking this much bigger predator is not worth the attack in the first place.
Yeah, and you know, I've been on a few combat missions, so
that's why I'm learning how to fight. Just for protection. I hope it doesn't turn me to the evil side. Yeah. Sometimes when you learn a skill, your mind can corrupt the skill to where you're using it for the purposes that you didn't intend to in the first place. Yeah. But I don't think so. Yeah,
and I mean, and that's where I come in. You know, that's my real thing is, you know, I've been in the streets. You know, I joined the gang at 15 years old, joined the Marine Corps at 17 years old, and it's like everything I got before I was 15 and joined the gang, I was getting abused every day. You know, I wasn't the outgoing kid. I lived in 5 different states. I was always the new kid. I never had, you know, cousins or relatives to have my back. So I've always been that guy that was just on the outside, always trying to, you know, hold my ground and do my own kind of thing. So now I use, you know, what I've learned. That's why, you know, I didn't spit insults at police, because I don't spit insults at anybody, period. Exactly. Unless I think they say something dumb, then I might be like, man, that was some dumb stuff you said. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you know, I don't talk about people's appearances. You don't see me like, oh, this person looks like this or looks like that, because, you know, I've grown up to where, you know, I was the big kid in school. I was the kid with acne. I was, you know, I've seen everything. So, you know, I just treat people with a certain level of respect. And I just feel like, you know, there's a lot of crime going on in our neighborhoods. But, you know, when, you know, I was just in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, and I saw, you know, 2 Mexican kids, you know, kicking a soccer ball. And, you know, they see the police and they're waving. But, you know, when it comes to the nighttime and the cops see 2 adult Mexicans, you know, they're flashing the lights on them. And so to see that shift, like, where people, it's like, we grow up to think that these people are here to protect and really serve us, and, you know, we admire them. But then when we don't fit the social constructs of, you know, putting our pants up all the way up, or, you know, how we dress and look, and, you know, how we walk and talk and who we're associated with, then it's like, you know, all that goes out the window.
And that should bring us right back into the stop and frisk movement. Yeah. Explain what's going on. I'm sure everybody who's seen this video, most of my friends, they know about it to a certain degree, but what exactly is going on with the stop and frisk movement?
I mean, basically, the stop and frisk is, you know, where the police can stop you for anything. You know, I've been stopped. A police officer said that when I saw him, I moved funny, and that was his cause, it was, you know, it was cold outside. I had my hands in my pocket. I saw the cops. I didn't even care, you know. I just kind of turned and he said that I moved funny. So he came to check me for a weapon. And what happens is, even in New York City, more people are being stopped and frisked than are being arrested. So, you know what I mean? More people are being stopped and frisked than are black men and Latinos in this city. So, you know, it's like they are using, you know, they're using the law against us, so to speak, and that, you know, they're creating laws to keep us down because, you know, only 1% of the time have they found anything on somebody that they stopped and frisked. So it's like, you know, it's basically just, you know,
1%.
Yeah, it's basically just being, you know, the overseers of us. You know, that's what they are. They're not officers. They're overseers. They're
Is this legal? Is this constitutional to just be able to stop anyone anytime?
No, it's not constitutional, but it is in many states. Though this is, you know,
law.
But this is happening. It doesn't matter about whether they're doing illegal. They're gonna do this regardless. Yeah. You know, nobody pulled out. You know, nobody says, "Hey, I'm stopping and frisking you and writing anything down." They just literally hop out the car. And I've been arrested in New York City for marijuana possession, and they didn't find any marijuana. The police officer told me, he said, "Listen, if you don't tell us where the weed is, we're gonna arrest you." And I said, "Officer, there is no weed." He said, "I just saw your friend over there sparking it up." I said, "Hey, that was a Black and Mild." He said, "Nah, that was we know. They never found any weed. Took me to jail." When I got to court, I have the paperwork too. I wish I would have brought it, but they gave me a disappearance certificate for marijuana possession. When I got to court, the judge said that I was there for an open container of liquor, but they didn't specify what kind of liquor it was, and the charges were dismissed. So I couldn't even fight it. You know,
because they dismissed it. They basically just. Well, maybe you can. See, the guy off camera, who all you guys can't see, Sam Lugo, he'd have took that to court and somehow he'd have made $1 billion. But, you know, speaking of that, with the stop and frisk thing, the cameras. What is the... Because I remember growing up, everybody's like, Big Brother's watching you, Big Brother's watching you. In my logical mind, I started being logical somewhere around the age of 12. So I was like, the cameras on at all times mean that in my neighborhood, the cops can't beat you, slam your head against the hood of the car, mace your face, drag you to the floor, beat you up again in front of a crowd of witnesses because the witnesses are black, so the credibility is automatically dismissed in court. But the camera has no species to it. It's just recording the actual physical actions onto pixels. So it was no surprise to me when the cops did not want to be videotaped. This was not a surprise to me.
Yeah. But
why are other people so surprised? And some people don't know that the police in most states are trying to make it illegal for them to be videotaped, which is a sign of evil.
I have no clue.
To me, that's a sign of evil.
That is a sign of evil. That is really scary. And, you know, I always tell people to bring out their cameras when they're getting stopped. And a lot of times I tell people, listen, depending on where you're at, you need to get it on audio. You need to just put the audio in your pocket. Like if we go on my phone right now, I have my camera and my audio set up. Just so I can just press that one button and put it in my pocket, because I tell people, you go to East New York, you know, I videotaped a kid being chased by the police. He jumped in my car and was like, the police are beating me. I had this on YouTube. What is it? What's it called? One Marine Brooklyn police chase or something like that. If you put in Brooklyn police chase and look up the video, the kid was like, you know, they're beating me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he hops on my car, and what people don't understand is that this is what's going on in the hood. At that point in time, you know, because of where I was at, that's the only reason that, you know, I didn't get out the car, especially that late at night, and you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to really set myself up for that, so I couldn't really help him. It was just too many cops.
You know why they're trying to outlaw videotape of why they're trying to outlaw you recording the police? Is because I bet you within the next, and I'm always right about these things, in the next 3 years, everyone's camera phone will be able to record directly to the net, regardless of their brand, regardless of whether it costs $180 or $590. Every camera is going to be straight to the net, and once that happens, you can't misbehave for even a moment. The cops can't hit you to take the camera because it's already on the internet. So now they're being videotaped, stifling your camera. And that in itself would be an illegal act. But you know now when you break out your video camera, the police will actually try to sometimes take it from people, smash people's cameras. Like when they did in Florida when they shot this guy's car up and killed him. Everybody with a video camera they were confiscating them. Which to me, again, is evil. So if you were taking the video of your actions, and your actions are good, there's no reason to take the video. Only reason you take the video is when you know you have not followed procedure. And you're just following your emotions in a certain situation. So I think that's why they're trying to stop people from videotaping, but I think that's the one fight that everybody should really get on board with, is to not let the police dictate that we cannot videotape them. That would be the worst thing in the world.
And I mean, me personally, I mean, I've done my fair share of videotaping, but you'll never see the videos, not all of them. Because I don't want that kind of flag. I'm not trying to ruin anybody's career yet, but you know, I don't want that kind of, you know. I'm
See, that'll end when everybody's camera records straight to the internet, because then everybody can do it. Every situation turns into a moment that's on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I think that's what's coming next. So we just have to keep laws. We have to keep those laws off the books until the technology catches up to the point where now it's like, we got you. You have to behave yourself. I'll behave myself, and we'll be peaceful.
It's just, you know, just as a human being, I don't know how it makes any logical sense that the police can tape you, but you can't tape them. It doesn't make, you know, they have dashboard cameras, on-person cameras.
Well, you know once it makes no logical sense. There's another agenda behind it. Anytime it's not logical, there's somebody else saying, we don't want to tape because in case we want to bust this guy's head, we don't want you to see the evidence. We want to be able to say this is what happened.
But let somebody hurt a cop. There will be camera footage from every single angle, you know, every which way, cameras that you didn't even know were possible, something from a satellite that they have if you heard a police officer. So it's like,
which is understandable because that's their job, is to protect the service, and we have to protect them against the people who would hurt them and catch the people who would hurt them. But at the same time, as human beings and logical human beings, we know that the police are not supposed to harm. They're supposed to serve. You're not supposed to dictate. You're supposed to serve. And that's the biggest problem with humanity from jump. You know, once somebody gets a little bit of power. But I know you have other things to do. So let's go back to your experience on Survivor. Let's end this on a real charming.
Stop and frisk though. Don't forget about that.
That's right. You got to stop the stop and frisk laws, and you have to fight the whole thing about them not wanting to be videotaped. It's something that's worthy of your attention. Okay.
Stop all violence against each other. How about that? Stop all gun violence.
Now, do you guys have a commercial yet for Survivor? It's already on TV, right?
Yeah, now we have a commercial for Survivor. You can look me up CBS/Survivor. And,
the link will be here. Trust me, we will put that link up for people to see it. A question: how did they approach you?
Well, I got approached after my One Marine video obviously came out, and they saw me on different outlets and asked me if I would, you know, be interested in try auditioning for Survivor. I had to. What
other reality shows approached you? Because I'm
not gonna say.
Why would Love and Hip Hop approach you?
Well, because I'm an activist. You know, it was. I think. You know, because of my video and my strength that I exuded, it was like, you know, people was like, wow, this guy might be a little bit more interested.
He's a draw.
Yeah, he's a draw a little bit. And I think once I got to casting and they really, you know, found out my life story and, you know, my history as far as, you know, even being in Iraq with my mother and, you know, just being young and being a warrior and, you know, being promoted fast and, you know, just different things that I've done and being an activist, I think that kind of sealed the deal for me a little bit.
Yeah, I think Survivor was a great choice. When you said Survivor, I was like, that's a good reason to not. Because we were supposed to have this interview 90 days ago, but he was like, I got something going on, can't talk about it. And I was like, okay. And I waited. I watched the calendar. I was like, okay, it's been 90 days. All right, what's he doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, it was hard for me because I did it a little while back, and I couldn't say anything about it. So people were talking to me, and they're like, so what's next? And I'm like, yeah, I can't really tell you. I can't really tell you what's next, man. But everything is good now. I mean, people should tune in. It's gonna be a really good show.
I'm gonna watch Survivor for the first time since season 2. I think I watched season 1 and season 2, and then I was like, I'm not gonna watch this. But we are going to DVR Survivor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the only black man on my tribe, so I mean.
But you're like 2 black men. So.
If that doesn't tell you that, it's going to be interesting, I don't know what will.
It's going to be like MTV Real World, first couple of series where as soon as you saw the black person, you knew they were going to start something with this dude. And they're gonna make it, fashion it out that he's out of control. But they can't do that with you. I don't think they can do that no matter how much they try to edit it. It's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, I tell people that they ask me, I'm like, man, you're gonna see it's gonna be real good, but I can't tell you how good it's gonna be. But I tell people, man, the camera only takes what it sees. So
this conversation is actually gonna be probably a 3-part conversation, which is terrible. Which is terrible. To tell you the truth, it's horrible that our people cannot keep. But you know what I think? I think we're gonna do.
Edit it good,
we're going to make the full long video for those people who still have enough brain matter to watch 25 to 30 minutes of video, and we'll break it down into 3 separate videos for the ADD generation, ADHD, whatever they call it.
And you can release it every Wednesday when Survivor comes out.
How many weeks is Survivor?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it's about 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
About 12 shows.
About something like that.
Something like that. That's beautiful.
14 shows, something like that.
Beautiful. Well, you know what? I'm going to let you go. I've held you captive long enough. I fed you. If you wanted some food to go with, I got containers for that.
Yeah, I bet you do, man. Delicious.
Because that's one of my things. I try to show people that real men are better cooks than women. Anyway. I don't care what nobody says.
No, don't get me in that. Don't get me in that.
I'm saying it. I'm not
You're just a spectator. I'm not trying to have these ladies, coming at my neck. I know you can handle it. I know you're good. I know you're good, but I do not want those issues with my queens, man. I can't do it.
Y'all need to step your cooking game up.
That's what he said.
Send all replies of hate to me, Anthony Cosmic Brotha Aguilar, on Facebook, where I can block you.
That's
crazy. So, okay, people, I'm going to let Mr. Thomas go. He has other things to do. It was a wonderful interview. It's nice meeting you again, sir.
Thank you. What is this again?
This is lemon with brown sugar and Angostura bitters, which you know what? I don't care. I'm doing a little promo for them for free. Angostura bitters is my secret to great tasting juice. I wouldn't touch this stuff by itself. It tastes awful. But when you put it in juice with sugar, it makes a difference. Plus, my juice is always brown sugar.
Yeah.
And I made this because, sometimes when guests come over and I say, well, I got filtered water. They go, what? Just water?
That's my thing.
Yeah. Oh, I could have just told you that. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up because we can go on another hour. Mr. Shamar, it was a pleasure.
Peace.
Okay?
Thank you.
This is your boy Cosmic. See you again. You never know who's going to sit down and have dinner with me or what it is I'm going to cook. Peace. So what do you think, Sam?
Freaking amazing. Awesome. I was actually...
Oh, right on time.